Some relationships feel permanent, not just to the people in them, but to everyone watching from the outside. For years, that's exactly how fans saw Ruth Langsford and Eamonn Holmes, a couple that seemed steady, comfortable, real. But now, that image has changed. At 66, Ruth Langsford is opening up about one of the most personal decisions of her life. And it's making people ask questions. What really happened behind the scenes? Why did a long-standing relationship come to an end? And was there more to the story than anyone realized? To understand that, we need to go back. Before the headlines, before the public conversations, there was a genuine connection. Ruth Langsford built her career through consistency and authenticity. She became a trusted face on television, calm, relatable, and grounded. At the same time, Eamonn Holmes had already established himself as a strong presence in broadcasting. Confident, experienced, widely respected. When their paths came together, there was balance, different personalities, but something that worked. Their relationship grew naturally. They didn't rush. They didn't try to create a perfect image. They simply connected. And over time, that connection became something audiences believed in. Working together on screen, they built a dynamic that felt effortless. They laughed together, spoke naturally, handled live television with ease, and that authenticity made them stand out. Years passed. Their bond seemed strong, unshaken. But real life is never as simple as it looks. As time went on, small changes began to appear. Not dramatic, not obvious, but real. Busy schedules, different priorities, the pressure of constant public attention. All of it slowly builds, and sometimes it creates distance. Not through conflict, but through quiet moments. Less time together, less connection. For Ruth Langsford, this period became one of reflection. Looking at her life, her needs, her future, asking questions that aren't easy to answer. For Eamonn Holmes, life was also evolving in its own direction. Different focus, different pace. And when two people begin moving differently, even slowly, that distance can grow. Not suddenly, but steadily, until a turning point comes. A moment where staying the same no longer feels right, and moving forward becomes necessary. Today, Ruth Langsford is in a new chapter of her life, one defined not by the past, but by growth. She continues her work with the same presence people trust. But now, there's something more. Strength. Because moving forward after such a long relationship is never easy. It takes courage, it takes clarity, and it takes the willingness to accept change. For many viewers, this is what makes her story powerful. Because it's not about drama, it's about reality, about understanding that even the strongest relationships can evolve, and that choosing a new path doesn't erase what came before. It builds on it. From a relationship that millions admired, to a new life shaped by independence. Ruth Langsford's journey reflects something deeply human. That life doesn't always go as planned, but even in endings, there is strength. Even in uncertainty, there is growth. And sometimes, the hardest decisions lead to the most important new beginnings. If this story made you think, like, share, and subscribe for more real stories behind public lives. Because behind every headline, there's a deeper truth, and we're here to tell it.